Hey everyone, this is James with Cowboy Cricket Farms. Hope you are doing great today. We've been making tons of strides here down in Boulder, Colorado. And we're gonna go ahead and start the day with a chocolate chirp cookie. New packaging. It's been out for a couple weeks. In case you haven't seen it yet, it's pretty snazzy. Completely biodegradable material. So, with that said, let's get started. So as you can tell from my cup, we are in the Boomtown Labs, specifically Comcast Connectivity Laboratory. And today we're not going to be talking about any of this awesome stuff behind me. There's some really cool tools here. What we're going to be talking about is something critical to you no matter what your business is, whether it's being a cricket farmer or, was a t-shirt salesman in Germany, I think is what the BizDoc likes to say. We're going to talk about business formation, specifically what kinds of entities there are, the differences, and how you can go about getting your business set up to be the correct entity for your purposes. I hope you know I am not an attorney or an accountant or any other professional like that. I'm a cricket farmer, but still, we've had several businesses, and so I'd like to glean a little bit of information into this for you. So before we go through how to set up your LLC, let's talk about the different types of business formations. The most simple type is what's called a sole proprietorship. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's a person, and basically they have a business. You see this a lot in service-based businesses. I used to have a photography business. I was a sole proprietor in that. You are the business. You are the business entity. People pay you by your name or possibly your DBA, which is a doing business as. If you are a sole proprietor or you have another company and you want to do business as a different name than your legal name, then you have to file a DBA. Very easy to do. You do it through your Secretary of State. It's similar to filing for your LLC. Above that, you have something else I'm not going to talk too much about. There's a few different variations. Basically, it's a professional corporation. You see this with attorneys, accountants, doctors. So after you have a sole proprietor, the next level of protection basically in your business is an LLC, which is a limited liability company or limited liability corporation. There's something very important to know about this in that states are the ones who run LLCs, not the federal government. The IRS does not recognize LLCs. You're going to do your taxes either as a sole proprietorship or as a corporation. You and your accountant will figure out what works best for you in that. However, in LLC, what it does is it provides a barrier of legal separation between you and the company. You have to keep separate books, you have to keep separate bank accounts, you have separate names, you even have separate legal identification numbers. For you, it's your social security number, but for the business, it's an EIN, which is an employer identification number. Essentially, that's the social security number for your business. You're going to use this for all of your banking documents, anytime that you file your taxes, bring on contractors or employees, they're all going to need to use that EIN at some point. Your accountant can fill you in some more information, but if you want to register for your EIN, do a Google search real quick for IRS EIN, and there's a quick form on there. Just fill it out to the best of your abilities. If you have any questions, ask your accountant. It takes about 5 minutes to do. It is free. Do not pay to do this. If anyone is asking you to pay to file your EIN, then you are doing that unnecessarily. It is probably not a scam, but it could be. The IRS does not charge for you to file an EIN, and you will get it immediately after filing for it. It'll have a little PDF you can open and print that. So, what happens after an LLC? Well, that's a corporation. There's actually two different types. I'm not going to get into all the details, but basically the difference is how the shares are split up, shares being portions of ownership. LLCs, by the way, do not have shares, they have units, kind of similar, talk to your attorney. And so you have how the shares are split up and then how taxes are done. So an LLC is a flow-through entity, which means your business is going to make money over here. It's going to take all of its little depreciations and deductions, all that stuff, and then it's going to flow through to your taxes as an individual or as a married couple. A corporation is completely separate. You're going to pay taxes twice. You're going to pay taxes as the corporation, and then as an employee, you will pay yourself a salary if you get to take a salary. We don't. But if you do take a salary, then just know that you're going to be essentially taxed twice, whereas an LLC it's only once. However, you have a lot more growth and availability to bring in capital as a C corporation, partially because it's not a flow-through entity. So think about this. If you're an investor and you're looking at this company and what they're doing and the people there are just amazing, and you say, okay, cool, I'm going to write you a check for $1 million. I want 20% of your company. And they say, awesome, let's do this. And they're an LLC. They could take that money and just essentially flow it right into their bank account. Now it might be fraud, and there's other things that could definitely get in the way, but at the end of the day, it's pretty easy to do, and essentially whatever money is left over is theirs. As a C corporation, you cannot do that. That money belongs to the corporation. It is a separate legal entity. It is essentially a person as far as the government's concerned. And it pays its own taxes, and it has employees, and those employees pay their own taxes. Again, talk to your accountant on that one. For your LLC, you're going to have to go to the Secretary of State or whatever the equivalent organization is within your state to file for that. So I'm going to show you an example here with Montana. In Montana, we can just go down within the Secretary of State page, file a business, go through all this. You just click all the questions, put in your business name, and you get everything back within a day or two. They say a week, but it's usually a lot faster. Those folks are awesome down there. They're really efficient, and if you have any questions, you can just give them a call. If you're not in the state of Montana, do a similar search, and if nothing else, ask. There's probably someone that's filed one. You can also always just talk to an attorney, and the attorney can do all the paperwork for you. You'll of course have some attorney's fees, but that's usually pretty easy for an LLC. It'll take them a day or so to get everything filed, maybe cost a few $100. Alternatively, you can always go to business creation type websites. LegalZoom is of course a really popular one, and they'll charge you a fee. The first time that I ever formed a company, that's how we did it, and I haven't done it since because it's actually really easy to do this on your own. But if you want some help, and if it's your first time, LegalZoom or a similar website is a really good resource. So after a C corporation, there's really nowhere else to go, but there are a few kind of side business formation types. The biggest one would be a nonprofit. There's all sorts of types of nonprofits that are out there. Most of them that you talk about are this guy, and that's where a lot of your regular nonprofits that you can give donations, tax deductible donations to. For-profit companies can take donations, by the way. You're just not going to be able to write them off on your taxes. You're just giving them money. Good on you. So I hope that here helped to clear up a little bit of confusion. Anyone that looks over our checklist, and I'll put that in the description down below, of how to become a cricket farmer, you'll notice on there that you have to form an LLC or another corporation. I don't do business with sole proprietors. And the reason is that's a lot of liability for us and a lot of liability for you. There's no reason to do that. An LLC filing in most states is about $20, $50, $100. I mean, it's pretty reasonable. There's a few other things on there. We're going to be talking about insurance at some point. We're going to be talking about health and safety testing, especially for food and agriculture. So you'll see that on that checklist. But for right now, know if you want to become a cricket farmer or if you want to have really any other business, I highly suggest you form an LLC, get separate bank accounts, get a separate EIN, and keep everything separate. That way, if anyone ever tries to sue the company or you, they choose one. It's not usually both. Once you start mingling together those bank accounts, once you start operating to where maybe they're not really a company, this is more of a sole proprietorship that filed a piece of paper, the courts may decide that you aren't protected. So do the right thing, file your LLC, get separate bank accounts, get that EIN, keep everything separate, and run your business professionally. That's all I have for you this week. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all those things. Thank you so much. And let me know in the comments down below as well. What would you like to see, hear about? What kind of questions in business do you have? What kind of technology questions do you have? Right now, we have a lot of resources, and if I can't answer that question, I'll try to find someone that can. So until next time, my friends, stay chirpy. Bye.